welcome back to Scott's Weekly Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back by myself today, um, and we are here to do my Week 8 of the college football and Week 7 of the NFL predictions. Let's get into those right now. First, we start in college football as we always do. First came out Friday night, number 2 Oregon taking on Purdue. I will take Oregon. I think Dylan Gabriel's been playing very well at Oregon, coming off a massive win over Ohio State last weekend. I will take Oregon to get it done on the road against Purdue. Next up, Oklahoma State heading in to Provo, Utah to take on BYU. 43 degrees on Friday night in Provo. I will take BYU. I think BYU's coming in very hot, looking very good after another good win last week. I'll take BYU at home over Oklahoma State. Now into the Saturday games, UCF and Iowa State. No question here, Iowa State should win this game easily. Our defense isn't good, our offense isn't good, our coaching isn't good. Iowa State wins this game and they win this game handily. I think UCF's in for a rough next 6 weeks. Unfortunately, there is 6 more weeks of this, so I'll take Iowa State at home over UCF. Next up, Miami on the road at Louisville. I will take Miami. I think Miami's probably one of the best teams in the country right now. So I will take Cam Ward and Miami to get the win on the road over Louisville. Next up, Virginia heading in to Clemson to take on Clemson. I will take Dabo and Clemson. I think Dabo's got this team playing much better now after that loss in Week 1 against Georgia. I think they've got it figured out now. I will take Clemson at home to get it done against Virginia. Next up in a game that I think a lot of people are sleeping on is one of the best games of the weekend. Is it'll be 5-1 Nebraska heading into Bloomington, Indiana to take on 6-0 Indiana. This game will be on. This might be the best noon game you'll see on Saturday. I'm going to take Indiana though. I'm going to take Indiana from my buddy Kurt Esther. I'm going to take Indiana at home to find a way to get a win against a very good Nebraska team. I will take Indiana at home to get it done against Nebraska. Next up, Auburn heading in to Columbia, Missouri to take on Mizzou. I will take Missouri. I think Missouri's bounced back after that tough loss they had a couple of weeks ago against Kentucky. I think they bounced back from that. So I will take Missouri at home over Auburn. Next up, East Carolina taking on Army. Army back in the top 25. Very happy to see them back in the top 25. I will take Army at home. I think Army and a team we'll be talking about in a few minutes here on the show are the 2 best teams in the American, but we'll get to that later. I will take Army at home to get it done against East Carolina. Next up, is probably one of the best games of the weekend, is it'll be number 7 Alabama heading into Knoxville to take on number 11 Tennessee. Should be a great weekend. Paul Feinbaum was saying on Sunday that this is a lose and you're eliminated from the college football playoff game. He says if one of these teams lose, they will not make the college football playoff. I will take Tennessee because they're at home, and I've not been impressed with Alabama the last couple of weeks. I'll take the Vols at home over Alabama. Next up, number 12 Notre Dame coming off another win as they take on Georgia Tech on the road. I will take Notre Dame to get the win here. I think Notre Dame's playing much better recently after that loss to Northern Illinois earlier this year. I'll take Notre Dame on the road to get it done against Georgia Tech. Next up, number 24 Michigan heading in to Champaign to take on number 22 Illinois. I'm going to take Michigan to find a way to win this game. I think Michigan's a little bit better than Illinois is right now. And I think both of these teams are in a must-win situation to get into the college football playoffs. So I'll take Michigan to get the win on the road over Illinois. Next up, the Charlotte 49ers heading in to Annapolis to take on Navy, the other team we were talking about a few minutes ago, as they're the 2 best teams in the American Athletic Conference, with Army and Navy both in the top 25 for the first time since like 1960. If I saw that correctly on Twitter a couple of days ago on Saturday. I will take Navy. I think Navy's been playing very well recently. My buddy Riley was telling me how good Navy was going to be a couple of weeks ago. I will take Navy. I finally believe him. I'll take Navy at home over Charlotte. Next up, number 14 Texas A&M heading into Davis-Wade Stadium to take on Mississippi State, probably the worst team in the Power 5 this year. I'll take Texas A&M to get the win here on the road. I think tough place to play in Starkville, but Mississippi State's just so bad. I'll take Texas A&M to find a way to get the win on the road over Mississippi State. Next up, number 8 LSU heading in to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas. I will take LSU to keep it going. I think LSU is going to get the win out on the road in Fayetteville against Arkansas. Next up, we don't know where College Game Day is going to be this week, but I think they're going to be here. But I'll keep you guys posted on that later in the week. So it'll be number 5 Georgia heading into Austin to take on number 1 Texas. Should be an excellent game. 84 degrees in Austin, Texas on Saturday. I will take Texas. I think Texas has proven that they are the number 1 team in the country. And I think they proved that this week with a big win at home over Georgia. Next up, Kansas State in the big group of teams trying to make the Big 12 championship game this year, as they headed to Morgantown, West Virginia to take on the Mountaineers. I will take K-State. I think Kansas State's looked very good so far this season. I will take Kansas State on the road to get it done against West Virginia. Next up, SMU heading in to Palo Alto to take on Stanford. I will take SMU. SMU's been a very good, surprising team so far in the ACC. Stanford, not so much, coming in 2-4. I will take SMU to find a way to get a win. I know it's going to be tough for a team on the East Coast going up to the West Coast, but I'll take SMU to find a way to get the win on the road over Stanford. And let me check that in here. Oh yeah, Kentucky and Florida in the swamp on Saturday night. 7:45 kickoff. I'm going to take Kentucky. I think Kentucky finds a way to get the win. I think Kentucky's coming off a tough loss last week to Vandy, and I think Kentucky bounces back this week. But I could see this game going either way. But I think Kentucky finds a way to get the win on the road in the swamp from my buddy Terry Jewell. I think Kentucky finds a way to get the win in the swamp against Florida. Now into the NFL games for the weekend. Should be an excellent weekend of the NFL. First game out, thank God this game's on Thursday night because not a lot of people are going to watch it. It'll be the Denver Broncos heading into New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. Amazon Prime Video is the only way you can watch this game this week. I'm going to go with Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos to find a way to get a win. They hurt me last week in my Pick'em League. That was the only game I missed last week in my Pick'em League. So I'm going to take Denver to bounce back this week and get a win on the road in New Orleans against the Saints. Now into the Sunday games. One early game on Sunday. One of the last 9:30 kickoffs of the season. And so it'll be the New England Patriots heading into Wembley to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars to find a way to get a win here. I thought Drake May looked good last week, but I think he needs to look a little better for me to trust New England in this game. I'll take Jacksonville at home in Wembley against the Patriots. Next up, the 3-3 Seattle Seahawks heading into Atlanta to take on the 4-2 Falcons. I will take Atlanta. I think Atlanta's played very well the last 3 weeks. They're 3-0 in division. They've won the last 3 games against all 3 NFC South teams. I'll take the Falcons at home to get it done at home against Seattle. Next up, the Tennessee Titans heading into Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. I will take the Buffalo Bills to get the win here. Amari Cooper just got traded to the Buffalo Bills earlier this week, so I think he has a big game. I think he could be the next version of Stephon Diggs in that Buffalo offense. I'll take Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get a win here at home over the Titans. Next up, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals coming off a pretty boring win on Monday night against the Giants as they head into Cleveland to take on, I think I saw a rumor that Jameis Winston starting this week and the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Bengals to get the win here. I think the Bengals are a little bit better than the Browns. I think Jameis is going to give that team some life early, but then he's going to throw a horrible interception late in the game. That's going to cost him. I'll take Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to get the win on the road over the Browns. Next up, and probably one of the best games of the weekend, as it'll be the 5-1 Houston Texans heading into Lambeau to take on Jordan Love and the 4-2 Green Bay Packers. I'm going to take C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans to find a way to get a win here. It's supposed to be 56 and rainy in Lambeau Field on Sunday. But I'm going to take the Texans to find a way to get a win here on the road in Green Bay against the Packers. Next up, the 2-3 Miami Dolphins heading into Indy to take on the Indianapolis Colts. It doesn't matter which quarterback starts this week, Flacco or Richardson. I'm going to take the Colts at home. I think without Tua, this Dolphins offense just isn't anything. So I'll take the Colts at home to get it done over the Dolphins. Next up in the game, I think should be Sunday Night Football this week. It's with Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions heading into U.S. Bank Stadium to take on the Sam Darnold and the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings here at home. I think the Vikings are a better team. Right? I think these teams are about even, but I always take the home team when I don't really know what to do. So I'll take the Vikings at home to find a way to get a win at home over the Lions. But they do play again on Thanksgiving, and I'll probably take the Lions in that game. So we'll see what happens in a few weeks when we get to Thanksgiving. Next up it'll be the first revenge game of the weekend. Well, the second one with Sean Payton potentially getting revenge on the Saints when he goes back with Denver on Thursday night. Second revenge game of the weekend is it'll be Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles heading into MetLife to take on Danny Dimes and the New York Giants. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to get the win here on the road. Eagle fans are starting to turn a little bit on Nick Sirianni. They were wanting fired after beating the Browns on Sunday. I think Saquon and the Jalen Hurts and this Eagles team finds a way to get a win on the road in MetLife Stadium against the Giants. Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders heading into LA to take on the Rams. No Davante Adams for the Raiders. Just got traded to the Green Bay Packers earlier this week. I'm going to go with he got traded to the Jets. Packers, Jets, Rodgers and Davante Adams, same team, so I thought that would work. But I'm going to take Matthew Stafford and the Rams to get the win here. I think the Rams have not played well this year, but that's because of injuries. There's supposed to be a Cooper Kupp back this week, so I will take Matthew Stafford and the Rams to get the win at home against the Raiders. Next up, Andy Dalton and the Carolina Panthers heading into Washington to take on the Washington Commanders. Looked very good last weekend in a loss to the Ravens. I'm going to take the Commanders to get the win here at home. I think Jaden Daniels has an absolute field day against the Panthers. I will take Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders to get the win here at home over the Panthers. Next up in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, it'll be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Levi Stadium to take on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. Chiefs coming off a bye week. Niners coming off a win on Thursday night, which I was not able to watch because I didn't have power on Thursday night here in Florida because of the hurricane. But I will take Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to find a way to get a win here. Too many injuries for the Niners. I will take Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to get the win here on the road against the Niners. Next up, Sunday Night Football. Speaking of the Jets, they're back in prime time this week with Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, and company taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. I'm going to, unfortunately, Terry, I'm not going to pick the Steelers here. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be angry this week. I think Davante Adams has a good game. So I'm going to take the Jets to find a way to get a win here on the road on Sunday Night Football against your Steelers, buddy. I apologize. Now into Monday night. 2 Monday night games this week. First game out, probably one of the best games of the weekend, is going to be Lamar Action Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens heading into Tampa to take on Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. The two highest scoring offenses in the NFL going at it. But in these type of games, you trust the team with the better defense. And unfortunately, that is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens to find a way to get a win here on the road over the Bucs. I just don't trust our defense to be able to stop Lamar and Derrick Henry and that high-flying Ravens offense. I will take the Ravens to win this game in a very high-scoring game, a very entertaining game. But I'm going to take the Ravens on the road to get it done over the Bucs. Now into the final game of the weekend, Chargers and Cardinals in Glendale. The only way you can watch this game is going to be on ESPN Plus on Monday night. Give me the Chargers to get a win here. I think the Chargers have a better team right now. The Cardinals can't stop anybody from scoring. I'm going to take Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and the LA Chargers to get the win here on the road over the Cardinals. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Green Sports Daily, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with some more picks with the NFL and college football seasons getting into high gear. So I'll be back next week with some more picks, and I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott Speaking Sports. See you later.